The air smells like fresh-cut grass and regret. It's a Tuesday afternoon, and the sun beats down on Maple Grove, our cookie-cutter suburban neighborhood where every lawn is manicured to perfection and every mailbox screams conformity. I'm standing on our porch, sweat beading on my forehead, watching my wife, Elena, hobble across the street with her cane. Her steps are slow, deliberate, each one a quiet rebellion against the pain that's haunted her since the accident 2 years ago. The cane's tap-tap-tap against the pavement is a rhythm I've memorized, a sound that grounds me. But today, that rhythm is about to be shattered. Karen McAllister storms out of her pristine white colonial, her blonde bob bouncing like a warning flag. She's the HOA president, the self-appointed queen of Maple Grove, with a clipboard always tucked under her arm and a sneer that could curdle milk. Elena, she barks, her voice slicing through the humid air like a knife. Your roses are out of compliance again. I told you last week red only. No pink. Elena pauses, her shoulders stiffening. I can see the exhaustion in her eyes, the way her fingers tighten around the cane's handle. She doesn't respond. She never does. Not to Karen. Not anymore. But Karen doesn't stop. She never does. She marches closer, her heels clicking like gunfire on the sidewalk. You think you're above the rules, don't you? You and your limp. The word drips with venom, and my stomach churns. I step forward, fists clenching, but Elena raises a hand to stop me. Her eyes say, not yet. Tom. Karen's on a roll now, her voice rising, neighbors peeking through curtains. This neighborhood has standards. And that cane, it's an eyesore. You don't even need it, do you? Just playing for sympathy. Before I can blink, Karen lunges forward and swats Elena's cane out of her hand. It clatters to the ground, the sound sharp and final, like a bone snapping. Elena stumbles, her bad leg buckling, and my heart lurches into my throat. I'm running now, the world blurring, my pulse pounding in my ears. Karen, I war, but she's already turning away, muttering about standards and property values. Elena's on her knees, her hands trembling as she reaches for the cane. I drop beside her, my fingers brushing hers, and I hear her soft, ragged bray of the sound that breaks me every time. I'm fine, she whispers, but her voice cracks. She's not fine. She hasn't been fine since the car crash that stole her strength and left her with a leg that screams in pain every day. I help her up, her weight leaning into me, and I feel the heat of her shame, her anger, her quiet resolve. Karen's already halfway back to her house, oblivious, her clipboard swinging like a gavel. I want to scream, to shake her until her perfect world cracks. But Elena's hand on my arm stops me again. Tom, she says, her voice low, steady. Let her dig her own grave. That night, Elena sits at our kitchen table, her cane propped against the chair. The room smells like chamomile tea and the faint lemon of her favorite candle. She's staring at a stack of legal documents, her reading glasses perched on her nose. Most people in Maple Grove don't know Elena's a judge. She's private, keeps her work life locked away like a secret weapon. But I know the weight she carries, the cases she oversees, the way she can command a courtroom with a single look. And I know something Karen doesn't. Elena's been assigned to the lawsuit against the Maple Grove HOA. Karen's HOA, the one she's been running like her personal fiefdom, finding people for every blade of grass out of place, threatening foreclosures over unpaid dues, and now, harassing my wife. The lawsuit's been brewing for months. Neighbors have whispered about it at barbecues, their voices hushed over beers and burgers. Karen's gone too far finding Mrs. Patel for her son's skateboard, docking the Wilsons for a non-approved mailbox, even sending threatening letters to old Mr. Thompson, who's been in a wheelchair since '98. The HOA's bank account is bloated, but no one knows where the money's going. Elena's been quiet about it, but I've seen her poring over the case files, her lips pressed tight, her pen tapping against the table. Tap, 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 like her cane. The next morning, I'm in the garage, fixing a squeaky hinge, when I hear a new sound, a low, nervous hum of voices. I step outside and see a crowd gathered at the end of the street. It's not just neighbors. There's a man in a cheap suit, holding a camera, and a woman with a microphone, her hair sprayed stiff against the breeze. Local news. I catch snippets of their conversation. HOA scandal. Allegations of embezzlement. Karen McAllister. My pulse quickens. I glance back at the house, where Elena's sipping coffee, unaware of the storm brewing outside. Or maybe she's not unaware. Maybe she's been waiting for this. The reporter's voice carries, sharp and eager. Sources say the HOA president may have misused funds for personal expenses, vacations, home renovations. I freeze. Embezzlement. That's new. I didn't know the lawsuit had taken this turn. I slip back inside, my boots leaving faint dirt tracks on the hardwood. Elena, I say, my voice low. You didn't tell me it was this serious. She looks up from her coffee, her eyes calm but sharp, like a blade hidden in silk. I didn't know until yesterday, she says. The plaintiff's attorney dropped off new evidence. Bank records. Receipts. It's bad. I sit across from her, the chair creaking under my weight. And you're still presiding over this? I ask. She nods, her jaw tight. I can be impartial, Tom. It's my job. But there's a flicker in her eyes, something raw, something personal. Karen's cruelty yesterday wasn't just a neighborly spat. It was a match tossed into dry grass. And now the fire's spreading. Days pass, and the neighborhood hums with tension. Karen's still strutting around, but her smile's tighter, her clipboard clutched like a shield. The news vans keep coming, and whispers turn into shouts. At the grocery store, I overhear Mrs. Patel telling someone Karen bought a hot tub with HOA funds. At the park, Mr. Thompson mutters about a trip to the Bahamas. I don't know what's true, but the anger's real. Elena stays quiet, her cane tapping as she moves from our house to her car, her face unreadable. But at night, when the world's asleep, I hear her sigh, a long, heavy sound that carries the weight of justice and the sting of Karen's words. Then comes the wild card. His name's Marcus, a wiry guy with a goatee and a beat-up pickup truck, who moves into the rental house across from Karen's. He's loud, plays classic rock at midnight, and parks his truck at an angle that blocks half the street. Karen's livid. Of course. She's at his door the first day, waving her clipboard, her voice shrill enough to crack glass. But Marcus doesn't budge. He leans against his doorframe, smirking, and says, "Lady, I've dealt with worse than you in prison." The word prison hangs in the air like smoke. Karen falters, her face paling, and for the first time, I see her retreat. Marcus winks at me as I watch from our porch, and I wonder who he is, what he knows. He's not just a tenant. He's a spark, and Maple Grove is tinder. The trial date looms. Elena's been distant, her mind in the courtroom even when she's home. I catch her practicing her opening remarks, her voice steady but her hands shaking. The night before the trial, we're in bed, the room dark except for the faint glow of the streetlight. "Tom," she whispers, "what if I can't do this? What if I let her win?" I pull her close, her hair smelling faintly of lavender. "You're stronger than she'll ever be," I say, and she doesn't even know what's coming. The courtroom is packed. Neighbors, reporters, even Marcus, who's sitting in the back with that same smirk. Karen's in a crisp blazer, her face a mask of confidence, but her eyes dart nervously. Elena takes the bench, her black robe swallowing her frame, her cane resting against the wall. She's a force, her voice calm but commanding as she calls the court to order. The plaintiff's attorney lays out the case. Years of mismanagement, missing funds, receipts for luxury purchases. Karen's lawyer stammers, unprepared for the onslaught of evidence. Bank statements, emails, a photo of Karen's hot tub, gleaming in her backyard. Then it happens, the moment I've been waiting for. Elena's voice cuts through the room, sharp and clear. "Ms. McAllister, you've been served with a subpoena for additional financial records. Failure to comply will result in contempt of court." Karen's face crumples, her hands gripping the table. She didn't see this coming. She didn't know the woman she mocked, the woman whose cane she knocked away, holds her fate in her hands. The trial stretches on, but the outcome's clear. The evidence is damning: hundreds of thousands in misappropriated funds, all traced back to Karen. The courtroom erupts when the verdict comes, guilty on multiple counts of embezzlement. Karen's led away, her head bowed, her clipboard long gone. Outside, the neighborhood cheers. A raw, cathartic release. Mrs. Patel hugs Mr. Thompson. Marcus blasts Sweet Home Alabama from his truck. And Elena stands tall, her cane in hand, her eyes shining with quiet triumph. That night, we sit on our porch. The air cooler now, the stars sharp against the sky. Elena's cane rests between us. It's tap, 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 silent for once. You did it, I say, my voice thick. She smiles, but it's soft, tired. No, she says. We did. All of us. And I know she's right. Karen's fall wasn't just about money or power. It was about standing up, about fighting for what's right, even when the world tries to knock you down. The roses in our yard pink, defiant, and out of compliance bloom brighter than ever.